So I just want to introduce now Aurora. She is the Director of Scholar Support with Rockford Promise, and she will be sharing with us today how this will work. And I'll do a little wrap up at the end, but I'm going to turn it over to her. And let's see, it doesn't look like, I want to make sure this recording gets started first.
It said recording started, so I think it went through.
Thank you. I didn't hear that because
No
I was
problem.
talking. Okay,
You're fine.
take it away, Aurora.
Thank you. So as
Oh,
Margot
sorry.
mentioned,
One more thing
yes.
that we said we were going to do. We're going to do questions in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat where Aurora's talking, and I will be asking questions. So feel free to have those show up, and more questions, the better. All right. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. As Margot mentioned, my name is Aurora Schnorr, and I'm the Director of Scholar Support for Rockford Promise. So a lot of what I do is working with mentors, working with scholars, and really just trying to get them not only to and through college, but then hopefully back to Rockford and connected into a job. And so I do have my contact information there, and I believe Margot will put it in a recap email as well. So if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Because we are more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And please, as I was talking to Margot earlier, I was like, I taught through COVID over Zoom, like I get it, but please put questions in the chat. The more conversational this is, the better, because hopefully you guys will have a lot of questions and be very curious. So I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about Rockford Promise. We're a local nonprofit and we're dedicated to increasing educational attainment in the Rockford area. And with that, that also serves as a strong economic driver for our community to bring businesses to Rockford. When we know we have an educated workforce, not only can we have a booming economy, but we know that that ripples throughout the community. Even a 1% increase in college attainment in a community can lead to a 5% decrease in violent crime. And so when we talk about bettering Rockford, I can't think of a better organization to work for or support than Rockford Promise personally. I might be biased, obviously, but I definitely love our organization and what we do for the city and our students. And so the way that we do this is funding the tuition gap for scholars. So after their institutional and state aid and federal aid is applied, there's almost always a remaining balance for tuition. So we step in and we cover that. So we might be covering all of their tuition, we might be covering half of it, we might even be covering none of it. But even for those students that we don't have a financial commitment to, we offer robust scholar support. And that's really what I'll be talking about today. So as I mentioned, the comprehensive scholar support, we really are focusing on building our workforce development piece because we know that students are consistently asking for more career exploration, more internships, more opportunities to get on the job, a look at what the job really looks like. And then we're really excited to start building out our alumni network. Now that we have so many graduates, what we're really looking into is how do we leverage that? How do we build an alumni network? And I think Rockford University is such a strong example of that too. Your alumni are, first of all, so proud to be alumni, and second of all, so involved in the community still. And so, I mean, if we could just echo that, it would be great, right? But we're starting to build that out as well. This is a little graph of sort of our scholarships over time. We actually started in 2006 offering just partial scholarships. We were completely grassroots community funded in the beginning. And so what that looked like is in 2006, maybe we gave out 2 or 3 scholarships, right? And they were partial, just what we could give. By 2016, we took the leap and we said what we want to do is we want to make sure full tuition is covered for students. So you'll see this graph really starts in 2016, and Rockford University was one of our first partners. They've been such great partners in this effort and so wonderful. And as you'll kind of see moving forward, just the our scholars perform so well at Rockford University. And maybe it's a different breed of scholar, but I think a lot of that has to do with the community that Rockford University has built, along with the services and that one-on-one attention from professors. But we have continued to grow. You'll see dips here and there. This year, we are really excited. We had over 600 applications total, which is our highest number yet. And we just continue to grow. We see this need in the community. As college continues to get more and more expensive, parents and students need more and more support. So we're here to help with that. A little bit about our current scholars. We have over 500 scholars across 4 college campuses in the area. We currently have 43 attending RU, and with this new city partnership really picking up speed, we're looking to almost double that number in the next year, adding, so far we have 37 signed on for the next year, and we still have 2 contract signings. So we're really looking to build this RU community as well. With that, our scholars really, I always say they're 2/3 first generation college attendees, which is a completely different breed of scholar. I'm not sure if any of you are first generation college students, but what happens, statistically speaking, they are at a disadvantage. They don't have that guidance. And so really what we try to do is wrap them in scholar support. We have 60% of our students are students of color, and I always like to say they're 100% Rockford. Our students are the perfect cross section of Rockford, and they are our community and our future. Some of our success metrics, we currently have 197 college graduates that will continually to exponentially increase as these partnerships increase. So I think this year we have about six, don't hold me to it, but about 60 more being added to that. And that's just going to continue to grow as we grow. At Rockford University, we have an 85% on-time graduation rate, which is high above the national average of about 62%. And I will say our GPAs at Rockford University always outperform our other colleges. No, no shade to anyone else. I'll just say exceptional students there. We have a 69% on-time graduation rate with it at Rockford Valley College, and the national average for 2-year colleges is, or excuse me, for community colleges is 35%. And then our NIU scholars have an average college GPA of 3.2 and are persisting at a rate 8 percentage points higher than any other group on campus. And so we really like to show these numbers because what we're doing matters and it's proven. Our scholars are, pushing past what they need to push past and persisting higher than other groups. And the reason that, I mean, as a director of scholar support, I'm a little biased, like I said, but I really think our scholar support is the reason for that. We are one of 6 programs in the nation that not only offers the Promise program funding, but then scholar support as well. And what we see with that is our metrics are higher, right? We not only are getting them to college, but we really want them to get through, get the degree, and then make that degree actionable. And so the way that we do that is the funding to get to college, the financial support, the people support of the scholar support component, and then that connected piece, as I mentioned, getting them ready to be in the workforce, getting them the workforce development skills and employability skills that they need. So the way that we do that as well is through this kind of scholar journey that we've created. So that first year, statistically speaking, freshman year is the biggest indicator of long-term college success. So if we can get them established, set off on the right foot, engaged in the campus community, and going to class, that's one of the big ones, right? We can establish them and get them going right. Second year, we really push them to explore. We want them to do a job shadow. We want them to talk to somebody in the career because I can't tell you how many nursing majors have come to me their junior year when they're starting nursing school and saying, I don't like blood, things like that, where it's like, oh, if they had had an on the job, which nursing's tough, but if they had had an on the job experience, they might know. Or we've even had law students who did a job shadow with lawyers and they're like, oh, they're on their computer most of the day. It's not like TV. Yes. So we really want to push the on the job experience. Then third year is experience. We really push internships. We also require all of our scholars to take a success course at Rockford University. They already take first year seminars, so that worked out very smoothly. At our other partners, they would take a course called Braven, which is kind of a career success course. And then at Rock Valley, they take like a college planning course. But we really want to set them up not only with that success course, but also with career services and whatever advantages they have through their campus, we really push them to take advantage of. So experience with that career success course and then also internships. And then that fourth year, we set them up. We make sure they have a postgraduate plan, whether that's continuing school or going into the workforce, another internship, whatever that is. We want them to leave not just with a degree, right? Because a degree, that's just a piece of paper. We want them to leave with a future plan. And so this is sort of where mentors come in. Our first year support, where we really wrap them in support, we're really trying to keep them on board, keep them on the straight and narrow, and get them successful. They have a support coordinator through Rockford Promise. It's an assigned staff member who acts as a resource liaison. So scholars can go to their support coordinator with questions, anything from I'm struggling in a class and I'm not, and the professor won't help me, I can't afford groceries this month. I'm struggling with my mental health. My roommate's driving me nuts, right? Whatever it is, these support coordinators, they know all of the not only campus resources, but local resources to try to get them help. And they meet with them once a semester just to make sure that they're on track, planning what they need to plan, they're getting into the classes they need. Um, and each college, we have an office on campus for that support coordinator. Mentors work directly with the support coordinator for their college. So if you were to join on as a mentor, which I'll talk about in just a little bit, you would be working with the support coordinator directly as your main contact. You'd have their phone number. You can text them, email them, whatever works for you. Then the community mentor. This is huge because most programs aren't able to do this. And I will say the Rockford community has really stepped up and been amazing. But as we grow, we need more and more. So I love seeing so many people on this call and getting to kind of not only brag about our program, but also recruit a couple mentors, hopefully. So these are local professionals who have been through college, have a degree, they know what they're doing, and they have experiences, right? Even if you've only interviewed for one job and gotten it and you've been there for 20 years, that's a lot of experience, right? So our mentors meet with their mentor groups. They have a caseload of between 5 to 10, depending on the semester. Hope we're really shooting for 5 this year. It just depends on how many mentors we can get. But you meet with that group once per month. If a student doesn't show up, then you'll do a quick makeup with them and just talk about your experiences. There's guided conversations. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but you're really a career resource. You're someone that they can ask about how did you choose your major? Um, if you know, say somebody wants to go into nursing and your sister is a nurse, maybe you set up a coffee chat with them, things like that, where it's really guided, guiding networking, helping them choose a major and solidify that, things like that, where it's your first year of college, they're going to have a ton of questions, and maybe not everything is a resource question for a support coordinator. It might just be like, I am overwhelmed. We have so many mentors that it really depends on the relationship with the student, but we've had I had a mentor one time who was in France actually, and a student was having a panic attack at like midnight because he couldn't get into a class and called his mentor. And in France, the mentor picked up. And not that I'm expecting you to pick up while you're on vacation in France, but just those moments where it's like he talked that kid off the ledge. You know what I mean? He told that kid that he would be all right. And even to this day, he's graduating this year, by the way. I remember that. And I'm like, I couldn't be there in that moment. I did not answer my phone, but his mentor did, and that made all the difference. And then the other component for first year is what we call the Scholar Success Summit. These are really fun events where we get all the freshmen from all the colleges together in one place, and we have outside speakers. We really focus on personal growth, academic success, and career building. And so it the first one is always kind of basic, and then we use that feedback to really hone in on what the scholars want. So last year, the scholars in the fall, they said we want to know about internships. About 40% of them mentioned internships by name. So what we did, we went to the career services department of each college and had them come in. Dr. Shukla, if any of you are familiar, was absolutely amazing with our RU students, but we had them come in to tell them specifically what is available, what skills do you need, all of that good stuff. And so those success summits are, first of all, very fun for mentors and scholars, but second of all, so many skills are picked up and just so much community built there as well.
Can you pause while we're on the Success Summit and talk? I have a few questions, a little more.
Yes.
Is it a weekday? Is it a weekend? Is it a half day?
Sure.
What is the time commitment on a Success Summit?
Absolutely. So all of our mentor events are on Saturdays. We know that you guys work. So mentor meetings, that's kind of up to you to work that around your schedule and your scholars' schedules. But all of our actual events will be on Saturdays. We try to make it, and we already have all those dates listed out too. I'll show them to you in just a minute because we don't want to make it any harder on our mentors than it has to be.
Oh, we have a question. Can you be
Yes.
retired and still be a mentor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, some of our mentors who are retired have the most time, obviously, and so they make the best mentors. The biggest thing is you want to be able to communicate with the scholars, one-on-one. And then we do use Google Classroom. So we'll do, when we do mentor training, we do go over Google Classroom. But yeah, so as long as you can do those two things, you should be good if you're retired. And I thought I saw another question pop up in the chat.
Yes, we had a question about being in remote being remote in New York, Marianna's in New York, and the planning to attend
Sure.
something in person. But I think you're going to talk about dates and what that would look like.
Yep. All of our dates are in person, so we don't currently have fully remote options for mentors. We would potentially be able to use you in other capacities, like if you would be interested in having, and I'll talk a little bit more about this. So actually, I'll come back to that if that's okay. But I will brush on that. So why do mentors matter? When we look at the statistics, mentors are huge. Students with mentors are 2 times more likely to stay in college, 23% more likely to graduate on time. It reduces first generation dropout risk by up to 40%. And when we have, 70% of our students are first generation, that's huge. And then the likelihood of students securing internships goes up by 67%. And when we're talking about, we want our scholars to do this, mentors are just such a key component. So what does a mentor do? Once a month, you're going to meet with your scholars. We have guided conversations that are already pre-made for you. It's mostly just questions and then suggestions of what you could share, what experiences you could share, or things like that. So you're not on your own. You don't have to just make it up from scratch. We've got it for you. But that's the big thing, is sharing your experiences, letting them know that, you struggled too, you had good times too, they can do this. And really helping them navigate college. I mean, college looks different, even from when I went to college to, the students going now, it looks completely different, but the challenges are the same. I need to go to class. I need to get good grades. There's pressure. There's, do I need to work? And do I have enough money to live? All of those things. But the biggest thing is networking and building connections. What we found is crazy high school seniors and college freshmen don't have much of a network yet. And they don't really have any experience in how do you build that in a professional way, right? They can make friends very easily, but how do you make a professional contact and maintain that over years? So really talking to them about what that looks like and what professionalism looks like even. Here are the dates that I was talking about. So every year we have new scholar orientation and the mentor meet and greet. That's where you get to meet your mentees for the very first time. And that's on Saturday, July 25th. Your mentor monthly group meetings, if you join on, you schedule those with your group. So try to schedule it as many can come, you try to schedule it so that as many scholars can make it as possible. But those who don't make it, you would just do a one-off meeting with them, virtual or in person, either way. And then 2 Scholar Success Summits, one in the fall on the 17th of October and one in the spring in February. And then each year we ask our mentors to plan one meetup. I'll show you some pictures of some of the meetups. They're really fun. We've had students, we had a group volunteer at Stroll on State together. We've had groups go and get pizza. We've had, all sorts of different fun things. So we do ask that you would plan that. That's up to you when you'd like to do that. A lot of groups do that over winter break just to
And
make
we
it
will be
easy.
sending all of this out, so you don't have to write anything
Yes.
down. I'll come to you in email.
I am going pretty quickly, so please ask questions if you have any. Excuse me. And then we have an end of the year celebration. It's a really fun picnic. We give out mentor awards, we give out scholar awards. It's at Alpine Park, and that's on May 15th. If you are interested in becoming a mentor, I'll give the sign up in just a minute. But we do have 3 different mentor trainings. You only have to attend one. We have 2 in person and 1 virtual. So just kind of keep an eye out for these dates. And other ways to get involved. So if you're not able to make all of those dates, we would say, unfortunately, this might not be your year. Please check again with us next year. But there are a ton of other ways to get involved too. So if you need to do remote, or if you can't make those days, we also have job shadows. If somebody can, follow you around at work, or even for an hour. And with that, we also have started doing kind of coffee chats. We should probably have a catchier name, but just so a scholar can pick your brain about what you do, about your pathway to where you got to. We are always looking for sponsors. Right now, two of our scholarships are funded through the city, but 2 of our scholarships are all donor based still. So we are not fully funded. We're always looking for sponsorships. We are a great partner, I promise. And then internships. We are building out, as I mentioned, our workforce development components. And so as we do that, our eventual goal would be that every Rockford Promise scholar has an internship and we've helped them secure it. That's a lofty goal and we are just starting. So if your company offers internships or if, even in your position, you'd be comfortable offering something like that, we would love to connect with you. And you can also get involved. Our volunteer form that I'll show you in the next slide covers all of this. Occasionally we need event volunteers. It's pretty rare, but any way that you would like to contribute, we are happy to hear that. We are a community organization and we want to hear from the community.
So a couple questions on that. Can you talk a little bit more about the coffee chats and what that would look like? Because that sounds like a way that remote people might be able to be involved. And also what kind of internships are needed? Is it, what is the length of them? Is there
Sure.
a formal expectation? Is it for credit? Just a little bit more about that.
Sure. So for the coffee chats, that's something that's been very informal so far. It's really, if we have somebody who wants to volunteer or has expertise in a certain field and we have a scholar who's questioning, we just kind of connect them. So it's been very informal, or we'll have them do a Zoom meeting, something like that. We are building our sort of database of people who are willing to do that. So hopefully we can formalize it more in the future. Right now, it's really if a student has questions, then we sort of dig in and see who we know and who we can connect them with.
And
For the
Aurora,
intern,
I just want to
yes,
comment. We've done recently an alumni engagement survey that went out over email. And so we've been gathering information as well of alums that would be willing to do that kind of thing. So that's something,
excellent,
an additional partnership resource. And I'm sure that many of the alums on this call have been participated in that survey. So we have that information.
excellent. That's awesome. Yeah. And then the other question was about internships. You said, what type of internships do we need? So right now we are not being incredibly picky about it. We always prefer college credit. We also, all of our internships are paid. And so if a company is not able to offer a paid internship at this time, we do have some grant funding that we can sort of work with the employer on with. Um, our biggest majors are engineering, nursing and healthcare, and then occasionally education. It ebbs and flows. But definitely engineering and nursing are huge, and then business as well. But really any area that we could get an internship in, we probably have a scholar we could place there. Like as I mentioned, we have over 500 scholars, and there are majors I've never even heard of that our scholars are studying. So anything like that in terms of length and things like that. Generally, summer internships work better for our scholars just because they're not in school. But any scholarship that's excuse me, any internship that's available, we'd be willing to look into and partner with. So it's just a conversation. If you think you might be interested or you think your company might have one, reach out. We'll talk to you. And if it's a no, it's a no. But if it's a yes, that's awesome.
We have one other question. We've been focusing a lot on Rockford University and four-year degrees, which I love, but I know you partner with Rock Valley as well. Can you also just let everyone on the call know a little bit? The question is, do you support students working on a two-year degree, something like fire science, automotive, those types of things?
Absolutely, absolutely. Any accredited program through the colleges that we work with, which we work with Rockford University, Rock Valley College, Northern Illinois University, and St. Anthony College of Nursing. So we actually have 4 people coming in this year for RVC that are doing fire science. So any program that's through there, we can work with them on. We do offer transfer options. We have a competitive transfer option from RVC to St. Anthony, and then now we also have a non-competitive option for RVC students who get their associate's degree to transfer to NIU under the same program. We're hoping for RU soon, but it's all, it's always conversations. But we absolutely support them as well.
Great, thank you.
Of course. So if you're interested in getting involved, your next step, this is a direct link to our application for people who want to get involved. And these photos, I love them so much, especially the shark one. These are some of the mentor group get together photos from this last year. So they're a little small. Maybe I can make them bigger. But you'll see the one on the left is Stroll on State, and then I'm not sure where the one on the right is, but I love it. So if you're interested, take a moment, scan this QR code. It'll also be in this information will also be in the email following this event as well.
And I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Then, if you guys are interested in learning more about the program or just having like the best warm and fuzzies of your whole life, we have our upcoming Promising Futures event at the Coronado on May 3rd. Not to toot our own horn, but it is the mayor's favorite event of the year. He said it publicly. But we really celebrate all of our incoming scholars and our graduates. We have several from RU graduating this year, so we're really excited. It's only an hour-long event and it's completely free. So please, if you're interested, join us. Yeah, it's just, I love this event. So I always brag about it. And then lastly, our social media. We are always posting our scholar stories, asks, events, things like that on our Facebook. So please follow us. Add us on LinkedIn if you're interested, because that's the best way to connect with us and really see what's going on with the program and all the fun stuff too. But yeah, does anyone have any questions I can answer? I know we sort of answered a few sprinkled throughout, but
This has been really great. I'll let people take a minute as they're processing this to think if they have any questions. But I think it's very exciting. And I'm looking at the volunteer interest form on my other screen. So if you haven't had a chance to open it, there's boxes there that you can check all of these things that Aurora has shared with us today. Mentoring, job shadowing, internship, helping with outreach, volunteering. So even if you think mentoring is not right, it's worth clicking through. We do have a couple questions coming in. First one, how many mentors are you looking to add? Where are you with mentorship recruitment?
sure. So this year, our caseload was 10 per mentor, and we had 20 mentors. I would love to reduce that caseload. My ideal would be 5 per, so that would mean we need about 40 to 45 mentors this year. And I know several of ours are currently returning, so I'm probably looking for about 25 mentors this year.
Okay. Are you alum? We have a big job.
And I will
And
say oh, sorry. I didn't
no, go
mention
ahead.
it before, but we can't guarantee what school you would be paired with. So even though I know you're Rockford alum and I know you love Rockford University, the majority of our scholars are at Northern Illinois University, and so you potentially could be with NIU, with RU, with RVC. It just depends on how the caseloads land.
RU grads are famous for all volunteering under Jane Addams' legacy. So I know our graduates will do whatever we need. Can you talk? I just want to ask you a few more questions. And I know you and I have talked about this, but give a little more in depth. When you say you have 5 mentees or 10 mentees, what does that look like time wise? I know you've talked about monthly meetings. Those are
Mhm.
group meetings, if I understand. So you're just doing one meeting a month, really.
So we've throughout the years we're sort of refining, right? So this past year, we switched away from a virtual model into more of an in-person model, and those were individual contacts, like each student you met with, and that time commitment just isn't realistic. So what we're trying to do is sort of move back towards a group meeting, but the smaller those meetings are, the more participation we see. So we would love to, 10 students is manageable when you're doing a Zoom meeting, don't get me wrong, but I'd love to reduce that down. So the caseloads, it's not like you're having an hour-long meeting with 10 students. You'd be having, a 1 hour meeting, and then say a student couldn't make it, if you could just follow up with them and have that meeting. Yeah.
And then I just heard you say there's Zoom meetings. So typically those monthly meetings happen with your students over Zoom. Those are virtual, the monthly.
We have some mentors that love to meet in person and they will do
Okay.
in-person meetings. We are actually a Google, I say Zoom just because Zoom is the new Skype, but
Like
we technically
Kleenex.
work on Google. So it would be Google Meets. A lot of mentors prefer Google Meets, especially if you're mentoring for NIU. It's just then you're not having to travel down there. So definitely virtual meetings for the monthly meetings are acceptable.
So let me push a little bit deeper on that. If someone is deeply connected to Rockford, can help with networking and get them involved and can be in town for all of those events, but they're not living here full time, say, would mentorship still be an option for them with those monthly meetings happening over Google as long as they've committed to those dates in advance, those 4 or 5 in person, and can facilitate the networking in town?
Yes. Absolutely. If you can attend in person all of those in-person dates and do the group meetup, absolutely we could do remote. It's just if you're not able to make those in-person dates, it sort of leaves your scholars hanging, and that just is like heartbreaking.
I know
So
you and I talked about that when we met, that if a mentor misses one of those event days, that group of mentees is sitting over in the corner kind of without their cheerleader. And it's
we
that moment of,
yeah,
you send someone, you have an adult there with them, but it's not their person. And so
exactly.
it doesn't have that same feeling.
Exactly. We have a volunteer or staff member step in and lead the group. It's not like they're really on their own, but their mentor's not there, you know.
But it also sounds like whether you're in town or out of town, filling out that form and maybe putting other and specify that you could do a virtual chat about a career moment. Those coffee
Absolutely.
conversations, as you said, would be an option in building that database. I see a question here from Paula. If you're out of state, how can you assist? So just being available to meet with someone virtually and share experiences or stories sounds like it could be really valuable for the scholars.
Absolutely. And those connections, as I mentioned earlier, they've been very informal so far. So it's not like, every week we have a scholar asking questions and needing somebody. But when we do, it's really nice to have that pool of people who are ready and willing to work with a scholar.
Absolutely. We had one other question here. Do you have an upper age limit for your scholars? Are they typically traditional age students? Do you have non-traditional age students? How does that work?
So all of our students are required to apply when they're graduating their senior year. So the longest that we would have a student is 4 years after that. So because there is a time limit on the scholarships, RVC is a 3 year, and then all of our 4 year universities are 4 year. So the oldest scholar that you would have is 22, 23.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it
Someday
does,
maybe we'll work with non-traditional. We'd love to, but as of right now, we're sort of limited to graduating seniors. And
that
then
makes sense.
mentors only work with freshmen currently.
Okay. So after their freshman year, do mentors and mentees ever stay in contact? What is your feeling on that?
So they're absolutely welcome to. We hope that a relationship has been built that could be moving forward, that could be a connection. However, after a year, your commitment is technically over, so it's not like you need to move forward and continue. I will say at Rockford University, our mentors, it's wild to me. They really stay in contact. I have somebody who graduated 2 years ago who still works with their mentor and meets with them almost monthly. And I just think that's really cool and beautiful, but it is not the expectation. It's a one academic year commitment for mentors.
Amazing. There have not been any other questions that have come through in the chat. I don't know if I want to put one more call out. If you have any final burning questions. And of course, Aurora's contact will be sent out with all this information. You all have my contact, and I'm always happy to answer questions as I can or pass them on to Aurora or other Rockford Promise staff members if our office doesn't have the answer. But I just want to say, here's another good one. Do you help with any resume building or interview skills?
Absolutely. So, we try not to duplicate too much what they're already receiving through career services, but with those success courses, I know each one of them does touch on resume building. And then we at events have different, every year we have at least one resume building workshop, thing like that. But really, we try to connect them with career services and not, we're just a nonprofit, we
I love
don't,
that.
we
Do what
don't
you're
have the
good at.
capacity.
You fund it,
Exactly.
you do the mentorship, and then you pass on to other experts. Very
However,
wise.
if we have a relationship with a student, like I personally have probably reviewed 50 resumes during my time here, scholar support coordinators will review that. I've had students ask me to look at applications and, all sorts of things. So definitely it's all relationship based. If they ask us for help, we're going to figure out how to help them or who can help them.
That's great.
I love my job.
I know. Isn't it is so wonderful. I love my job too. So I just have to say, I'm so proud to be part of the Rockford University family, to hear all of these great stories about the great things that are happening with our Promise scholars. From you, I know I get to hear some of it being on campus, but it's always great to hear that outside voice. I'm so proud of how many alumni we had and friends show up on today's call. You guys really showed up. We're just so pleased, and to be able to share this information more broadly. on behalf of not just Rockford University, but the greater community and the students that Rockford as a city is producing is something Rockford University is proud to partner with and support. So, Aurora, thank you so much. This has been really, really great. And we will be following up with everyone soon. Thank you all for taking a part of your day to show up here to learn more and to support the work that is happening in Rockford on campus and off. We're just really grateful for the tight community that you all are a part of.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Rockford University has been such a wonderful partner, and Rockford alumni are so special. So thank you guys so much for having us and for partnering.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.